The men and women's track and field teams continue their success this season as Morgan Zeckley captures another first-place finish. Hello, I'm Jake.
And I'm Brendan Rigney. Men's basketball suffers another loss before bouncing back big against rival St. Joe's. You're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome, welcome. Another show, another special treat for you. Men's swimmer Jacob Bartoshevich will be here later on desk, later in the episode.
And later, Tommy McIntyre joins us for some exploring headlines. But first, let's catch up on what went down this past week for the spring athletes, excuse me. On Friday the 23rd, the men's track and field team traveled to Princeton, New Jersey for their invitational hosted by the Princeton Tigers. The Explorers competed against 18 different colleges with 26 Explorers competing in 12 different events. The men had a strong long-distance finishes, helping the team greatly. In the 1,000-meter run, runners Chris Trimble and John Pujols finished in the top three, with Trimble finishing second with 2 minutes and 31.06 seconds, and Pujols right behind in third under a second later. Junior David Ozorowski, and seniors Ben Pershaw and Nico Greco placed in the top 10 of the 3,000-meter run. The junior had a career-best time of 8 minutes and 34 seconds and placed third. Pershaw and Greco placed 8th and 9th. LaSalle performed well in this meet and are looking for another great performance next weekend at the Penn State National Conventional and the Patriot Games.
And the women's track and field meet was dominated by 3 freshmen in Princeton on Saturday the 24th. Morgan Zeckley, the A10 cross-country champion, won the 3,000-meter run with a time of 10 minutes and 1 second. In the 1,000-meter run, fellow freshman Tio Taylor earned herself third place with a time of 3 minutes and 7 seconds. The last freshman to make a name for herself this past weekend was Megan Connell, who finished third in the 1 mile with a time of 5 minutes and 7 seconds. In other news, senior Molly Mickle finished 12th in the 3,000-meter run, while Kate Conville finished 10th in the 800-meter run. The Lady Explorers returned to action this weekend in split dual action at George Mason and Penn State.
The men's tennis team began their spring season on Saturday the 24th with a 7-0 loss to Drexel in the City 6 Invitational. Seniors Dale Fetterman and Thomas McLeod struggled to find a rhythm as they fell in their doubles match 6-1 as well as their singles. The rest of the men's team faced similar scores, with Brian Balico losing in a 6-1, 6-2 decision. Drexel moves on in the City 6 Invitational. Meanwhile, the women's team experienced its own 7-0 loss to Drexel on Friday the 23rd. The Dragons caught fire early by sweeping all doubles matches with identical scores of 6-0. 3 Explorers dropped straight sets, while Jade Smith lost in a 6-1, 6-3 decision. The women's team now waits to play on Valentine's Day at St. Peter's. Well, it's nice to see the tennis teams back in action. Hopefully they'll turn things around. Jake, can you tell me a little bit about basketball season heading up? I understand that you were at the St. Joe's game, which we'll get to in a little bit.
I know. I'm actually getting to go see that game coming right out of the break. I am so excited for the team coming in for these next couple weeks. I'm ready.
What do you think about their inconsistency on the court?
I don't know. They're a scrappy team.
You think they're going to turn it around, Jake?
I believe that they are going to turn it around. Yeah. And the women's basketball team faced quite the challenge this past week when they welcomed the 24th ranked team in the nation, the George Washington Colonials, to the Tom Gola. The Explorers managed to keep the game close early on, but the Colonials were able to ignite a 19-8 run to lead by 15 at halftime. LaSalle caught fire in the second half for a short time and was able to trim the deficit. However, GW was relentless in its high-powered offensive attack, led by Naismith candidate John Quell-Jones, who finished with a double-double and helped the Colonials edge out the blue and gold by a score of 67-48. Micaiah Owens led the Explorers with 12 points and also added a career high 5 steals.
On Thursday, January 22nd, the men's basketball team traveled to Kingston to take on Rhode Island in an Atlantic 10 matchup. Despite 18 points and 6 rebounds from senior Jarrell Wright, the Explorers were defeated handily 59-47. Midway through the first half, the Rams got hot and proceeded to go on a 10-0 run to separate themselves from the blue and gold. Gilvitas Baruta played the role of catalyst for Rhode Island, scoring 16 points and grabbing 9 boards. Hassan Martin also had a great game for the Rams, scoring 14 points while grabbing 9 rebounds and blocking 9 Explorer shots.
And after the loss in Kingston, LaSalle returned to the Gola for a game that meant something a little more to the seniors on the team. Tuesday, January 27th marked a bittersweet day for our seniors on men's basketball. That night at 7 p.m. was their final Philadelphia Big Five game of their careers. Not only an emotional night, to make it even better, the Explorers were playing for a packed student section along with a chance to beat up the Hawk one last time. With all the hype leading into this game, from tip-off, things were not looking good for the Explorers. St. Joe's came out swinging with an early lead led by DeAndre Bembry, who managed to pick apart our defense from the field as well as the paint. When the Explorers went into the half, they were down with a 15-point deficit. Things were not looking good on the court or in the stands. When the blue and gold came out for the second half, there wasn't too much optimism in the air. However, a few minutes in, the big moment the Explorers were waiting for came in the form of Khalid Lewis. He cut his way up the court, deked a Hawk to the ground, and put up a fadeaway jumper that sent the crowd into a frenzy. Cleon Roberts suddenly started taking beautiful outside threes to close the gap, coupled with huge rebounds from Zach. Finally, Jarrell Wright took control of the game when he cherry-picked a floating pass from DJ Peterson for the dunk. Now, with around 7 minutes left in the game, the Explorers had just scored 7 consecutive points to tie up the game at 39. It went back and forth to settle with St. Joe's on top with a dramatic three-pointer to give them a 1-point lead with 3 minutes left. Then, just when it looked like the Hawks were going to make a run with the score, Lewis made a pivotal steal that set up a jumper by Wright to bring the score 47-46 with 1 minute left. As the Explorers held onto their lead and St. Joe's tried to rally, Lewis sealed the deal with 2 straight foul shots to bring LaSalle up 3 with 30 seconds left. After 2 more fouls, Stukes and Zach put the game away with 4 straight points right before the buzzer to keep the Explorers on top with a score of 53-48. For the seniors, this was a momentous night to go out on top in Philly, with Wright leading LaSalle with 19 points and 10 rebounds, Cleon going 4 for 7 in the field for threes, and game-changing plays from Khalid Lewis. Post-game, Coach G was extremely enthusiastic about the win, as well as Jarrell Wright's leadership and perseverance in his last Big Five game on the court.
He was vomiting at halftime. He was cramping. Again, what a tough kid and what a courageous win. It's, you know, talent is one thing, and this was not a talent. This was a toughness win. And this was a character win. And, you know, we have Jarrell playing sick and hurt. And we have other guys who are down that keep fighting and scratching and clawing to get the score down. So I'm just really proud of our guys as people.
What a game, right, Jake? I understand, though, you took some abuse while shooting that game.
Only took, like, you know, got hit underneath the net like 3 or 4 times. I know you know a lot about that, except with actual players.
Yes,
like
I had
players.
Jarrell Wright attack me viciously. Didn't attack me, but it was horrifying.
It was more just it's a momentum thing. Yeah, obviously. All right. And the women's swim and dive team finally pulled out of their slump in the spring season with a steamrolling win against Loyola on Thursday, January 22nd. This meet ended up being one of the highlights of the season for the women's team as they commanded the win with a score of 213-87. Chelsea Curran, Kelsey Jenkinson, Amina Wilson, and Sarah Finn began the meet with a forceful win in the 400-yard medley with a time of 3 minutes and 59.32 seconds. Freshman phenom Emma Smith put her heart on the line with 3 wins in the 1,000-yard freestyle, 500-yard freestyle, and the 200-yard individual medley. To top it off, standouts came from Kate Hay and Tanawan Suck on the Panic, and as for diving, Paige Frischkorn and Sydney Zobo took control of the 1 and 3 meter boards. Suffice it to say, this was the strongest showing of the spring season and will definitely act as a springboard, pun intended, as they take on Penn on January 31st.
On January 22nd, the men's swimming and dive team continued their successful season with a dominating victory over Loyola. The point differential was a staggering 116 points as LaSalle defeated the Greyhounds 216-87. With the win over Loyola, the men's swimming team now has 6 wins and no losses in dual meets. Helping the Explorers with their win was freshman Dylan Urasitz. The freshman took first in both the 1 meter and 3 meter dive. Sophomore Matthias Glinesk finished first in the 500 and 1,000-yard freestyle. Freshman Fabian Bergman did well individually as he took first in the 100-yard backstroke, 200-yard backstroke, and the 200-yard individual medley. Jake, tell me, before we go to break, what's in store for the audience when they come back?
We get the chance to meet one of LaSalle's finest young swimmers coming on here straight from Poland. Got him straight off the boat. It's true.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited.
Me too.
I hope to see that this interview goes, swimmingly.
Oh.
Well, that wraps up our game recaps. When we return, Jake will be joined by here on desk, with Jacob before Tommy McIntyre comes on for Exploring Headlines. So please stay tuned.
I didn't think this could happen to me.
I just wanted to feel pretty.
I just put my drink down for a second.
I didn't want to hurt her. I didn't want to fight back.
Cyberbullying comes in many forms and can happen 24/7. If you or someone you know is a victim of cyberbullying, take preventative and assertive action. Keep evidence and document all instances. Remember to record dates, times, descriptions, and also save and print screenshots. Block your cyberbully and present your evidence to school officials or law enforcement. No one deserves to be a victim of cyberbullying, and together we can end it. For more information, visit stopbullying.com.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life to somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old. This disease just ravages a family.
It changes your life. If we work together, we can stop this epidemic. Now is the moment.
Contact Bright Focus and learn more.
Every day, there are many children with physical imperfections and deformities who courageously face the world. But through the Caring for Kids program from the Plastic Surgery Foundation and the Hannah Storm Foundation, you can help give them a new outlook on life.
Hi, and welcome back to SportsLine. I am here, Jacob Smolinski, with a very special friend, Jacob Bartosiewicz.
Special for me.
Yeah. Absolutely, thank you. Jacob, so you are a swimmer, freshman swimmer from Poland on the swim team. And I wanted to ask you, so coming across, you've really made a big impact for the team this year. You've dominated the butterfly events. In this past meet against Loyola, you won a bunch of events. So tell us, how was the transition from coming over from Poland to LaSalle?
Honestly, at the beginning it was very hard for me. It was, homesick, jet lag and bunch of stuff. But after a couple of weeks, I get used to it, and team was very supportive for me. All the friends from Poland also was saying oh yeah, you can do it. So now it's really, really cool, and I just trying to do my job. So.
Oh, I gotcha, and that's awesome. But what was it like? So those initial couple weeks when you ended up getting the chance to start practicing with the team, and I know don't they travel? Don't you guys travel to Florida, or is that?
Yeah, the beginning of the year was mainly outside of the LaSalle, so it was not only the swimming stuff, but also great experience to to visit a little of America. We traveled to San Bonaventure University in Ohio, Fordham. So yeah, that was really, really cool.
And so now, next week we have Penn, University of Penn, a really crazy invitational coming up. And this is the last one of the season, the regular season before we go into the A-10s. So what have you guys been doing to prepare for just going against Penn and back here at Kirk Pool?
Yeah, you're right. This dual meet will be, I think, the hardest so far. We are well prepared. We stay positive. So we are not afraid of them. We respect them. So, they just beat Drexel University, what isn't really easy, opponent also. But we believe in our strength points. So yeah, and about A10, we start a taper, so it's like, smooth over. Our job is done, so it's just, like relaxing time and.
Yeah. And just getting ready for just to get ready to compete.
Yeah. Hardest part is just behind us. So.
Yeah, exactly. But especially coming up into this Penn meet, who are some key players that are going to have to, or key swimmers that are going to have to really step up to make this possible? I know you're nailed down. You have a lot of some really awesome races, awesome stuff. Like people like Matthias Glenask, like Fabian Bergman. So who are some other people that we need to watch out for?
Honestly, to win this dual meet, we all have to do our best. It's not like a key players. In the previous dual meets, freshmen do a lot of stuff, but now we all have to be focused on our goal. And if we think seriously about winning, we have to work as a team. Swimming is an individual sport, but in college swimming, if you would like to win, you have to be, you have to work as a team. So yeah.
Yeah, and so then, because then that's different when you go into the 810s. It's a bit more individual than that, right?
Yeah, right. But basically, it's the same. But like it's coach pick up the 20 people who will give a points for a team, and majority they are the stars of the team because they can get the points for our team so that we can win 8-10. So.
And also, so your specialty is the butterfly. That's
yeah,
like
right.
your thing. So where did that start? Like, what was did this come back in grade school, back in Poland? Like, was this like always been your event?
Yeah, it always have been my event. I don't know, it just happened really. The very first day when I started swimming, my coach decided that I will be butterfly, and I just keep swimming. And I like this stroke. People will say like, oh, it's difficult. Yeah, it is difficult. It's very demanding, and a lot of details. Play a lot of work in this, but I'm used to it. So yeah, it's great fun for me.
Yeah, and so honestly, then, what is your favorite thing though about coming to LaSalle? Like, what is the best part about moving over here?
I think so far, like the support of all the people which are around me, not only the swimmers, but also like teachers, other students. It's really, really great atmosphere here, so I feel here like at home. So yeah,
awesome.
It's great.
And I know because we were talking about this before, and from back in Poland, you're missing some of your family's cooking.
Oh yeah, I miss pierogi so much.
Me too, because I'm also from a pretty far distance away, back in Buffalo, which is like 7 hours away. But my family, I feel you.
Yeah.
Poland, seriously.
Have to wait a little.
Exactly. And so tell me, any last things? What has been like the big motivation though for the team this entire year? What has been the?
I think like the fact that we are undefeated so far, it really keeps us motivated. There are like whole season was like a roller coaster. We are up and down, but because of this 8-0 stats, we just would like to keep going. Like we would like to change the history of the swimming here, and like rewrite the record board completely. So we have a dream and we would like to fulfill it, and that keep us motivated.
And thank you so much for coming on the show. Honestly, we're really excited to see how the rest of the swim season pans out. And so it is time for another commercial break, but stick around and Tommy Mack will be with us for some exploring headlines. And then later, Anna Gomez will have her pick for this week's marquee matchup. Stay tuned and thank you once again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Nay from LaSalle's very own TV show, Q&A. I'm here on North Campus asking random students trivia questions. Let's see how well they do today. Which rainforest produces 1/5 of the world's oxygen?
I believe it to be the Amazon rainforest.
And that is correct. Name the 7th planet from the sun.
Uranus.
That is correct. What is the capital of Spain?
Is it Barcelona?
It's actually Madrid. Only one sex of the mosquito bites. Is it the male or the female?
It's the female.
That's right. Which chess piece can only move diagonally?
The bishop.
That's correct. The Dewey Decimal System is used to categorize what?
Books.
That is correct. Be sure to check us out on social media and watch new episodes of LaSalle's favorite TV game show, Q&A, Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m., only on LaSalle TV and YouTube. And remember to never stop exploring.
Steve Graham, reporter for LTV News.
I'm Corey Meredith.
I'm reporter Madison Elliott.
Hello, I'm Brendan Rigney here.
And welcome to LTV News. Let's step back and take a look at the world. I'm here to tell you what's a buzz in Philadelphia.
Let's check it out.
An eclectic mix. I don't think that this tax is the way to do it.
They actually have a little celebration going on, and
I think it's a step in the right direction. I'm sitting down with my friend and fellow colleague for LaSalle TV, Jacob Smolinski.
We've got Miss Pinup, we've got Mr. Classy Designer.
Polarizing news reporter and political commentator Chris Matthews.
September 28th was a most auspicious day for the 52nd annual Puerto Rican Day Parade.
Finagling his way back into her life is Brendan Rigney, LTV charmer.
Alongside of me, SGA president and dear friend, Muffy Torres.
Groovy. Now let's talk fashion.
Reporter Steve Graham had the opportunity to cover the event.
The talent is evidently here.
Big plans.
So, I don't know, some really great things going on. And welcome back. Here with us now is Tommy McIntyre with his edition of Exploring Headlines. Take it away, Tommy.
Thanks, Jake. Let's go to it. It appears the swimming and diving team are strong from top to bottom, as freshman diver Dylan Urasitz was named Rookie of the Year or Rookie of the Week by the A10. The Pennsylvania native helped the Explorers defeat Loyola comfortably with his performance in the 1 meter and 3 meter dives. Despite waiting to start their 2015 campaign until mid-February, the lacrosse team has already scouted and announced its additions for the fall season. 7 students from both coasts and 1 international student will join the team as freshmen. The 8 are each highly decorated, including Courtney Bowden out of New Jersey, who helped her team go undefeated and reach a #1 rank by laxpower.com and BrianTopLaxRecruits.com. It appears that soccer star Kelsey Haycock will remain in our headlines for a little longer. It's been reported that the senior is invited for preseason training camp by the Portland Thorns FC. Jake's favorite soccer player owns LaSalle's records in career goals and points, and was the Atlantic 10's offensive MVP. Haycock appears to be following in another LaSalle alum's footsteps. Former Explorer Courtney Nemiak played for the Thorns after being invited last spring. Speaking of former LaSallian athletes, it appears recently graduate basketball star has found a new home. Tyrone Garland, owner of the beloved Southwest Philly floater, has been recruited by the Mrs. Gal Power. The team is included in the National Basketball League of Canada, and Garland has begun making a name for himself. Immediately, the alum has averaged 20 points per game in his 3 starts for the Power, all of which are wins. The Hamer Center's Hall of Athletes has a new resident after the addition of LaSalle legend Tom Gola. Gola was a pivotal piece of LaSalle's 1954 championship team, as well as a coach for the team from 1968 to 1970. Notably, he is one of only 2 players in NCAA's history to accrue 2,000 points and 2,000 rebounds in his career. Current coach John Giannini honored Gola by saying, quote, "Wherever your name is still spoken, your spirit will still live."
Well, thanks for joining us, Tommy. What do you guys think of 2 LaSalle alums turning up again in the news, finding professional work in their respective fields?
It's great. It's definitely great to see. I mean, obviously, when we're here in LaSalle, we want to hopefully do something great in our field. So anytime you get to see another fellow alum do something great, it's great to see.
Jake, how excited are you to see that Kelsey Haycock has found life after college in the soccer field?
I have been rooting for Kelsey Haycock since the start of my time here at SportsLine. And you know what? I'm going to be watching all their games I can possibly get on streaming demand, and I will just be screaming, "Haycock, I'm going to get her jersey. I'm going to get her jersey." That's it.
Make sure to invite me over for those. Yes. I'd love to see that happen.
Absolutely.
Well, now that we've covered the past, let's look to the future. Anna Gomez brings us this week's marquee matchup, so please check it out.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Marquee Matchup. I'm Anna Gomez, here to tell you about the exciting weekend men and women's track and field has in store this Friday and Saturday. The season started off last year at the Jack Pryor Invitational, where the Explorers got their feet in the water just a little before the semester and the year ended. Track and field has been back in action for just a couple of weeks, but it is still pretty early. Last week, the Explorers competed at the Tiger Invite in Princeton, New Jersey, with strong performances from the likes of Morgan Zeckley and junior David Ozarowski, earning top spots in their events. This weekend, the Explorers will be competing at the Penn State Invitational, where students from over 20 schools will be attending. On Saturday, George Mason hosts the Patriot Games that will be new to some of our competitors. Let's look at LaSalle's top runners and see what they can contribute to this weekend and the rest of the season. First up is senior Molly Mickle. Just a couple of weeks ago, Mickle ran her career best in the 3,000 meter with a time of 10 minutes, 33.2 seconds. And last week at the Tiger Invite, Mickle lost only a second on her best with a time of 10 minutes and 34.67 seconds. With the season now in full swing, it'll be interesting to see how this versatile runner will perform in her final season. Also a strong runner for women is senior Taylor Hackett. Like Mickle, Hackett has a long history of versatility for LaSalle. Previously, Hackett ran the 3,000 meter race with a time of 10 minutes, 19.8 seconds at the Gotham Cup. Last season, she ran her career best with a time of 10 minutes and 1.3 seconds at the Philadelphia College Classic. This weekend, Hackett will be running the 3,000 meter at Penn State. While this next competitor is not a runner, he is adding some excitement to the long and high jump events. Freshman Jordan Bryan has already stirred the pot this season as he was named Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Week for his collegiate debut at the Jack Pria Invitational, where he flew with the first place jump of 6 feet 4 inches. Bryan also boasts a high jump of 1.93 meters. Not to be outdone is junior Chris Trimble. Last week, Trimble placed second at the Tiger Open for the 1,000 meter in 2 minutes, 31.6 seconds. That's up almost 3 seconds from Jack Pria, where he ran with a time of 2 minutes, 34.2 seconds. At the Gotham Cup, he ran 800 meters with a time of 1 minute, 55.81 seconds, placing first. I'm pretty sure he'll be looking to beat his career best from last season, where he ran the 800 in 1 minute, 53.78 seconds. Right now, if our Explorers are looking towards a successful season, they'll need to ignite some momentum. These upcoming weeks are going to be where the Explorers can establish the pace for the season. While track and field is largely, in fact, an individual sport, every runner contributes to the depth and speed that is the beast of LaSalle's track and field. While the Blue and Gold have a couple of months before the Atlantic 10 Championships in May, the Explorers will also want to push toward the future. They will want to capitalize on their successes and their tougher races. It's what they accomplish now that will determine how the rest of the season plays out. To stay updated, be sure to tune in next week to see how this weekend fared for the Explorers. Also keep an eye out for some of the players I highlighted this week. For SportsLine, I'm Anna Gomez. Let's go Explorers.
And well, that just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the marquee matchup, make sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Be sure to keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by following us on Twitter at SportsLineLTV. We post game updates and sneak peeks into the upcoming show.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions about the show on either website.
For Tommy, Anna, and our entire SportsLine team, I'm Jake Smolinski.
And I'm Brendan Rigney. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you at the game.